Ooh. Ooh. Hey, Joey. Good morning. Hello, hello. I would have rung the bell, but there was a live critter in it. So, okay. Have I ever done this? It's hard to do it when, okay. Anyway, announcements. Do people have any announcements? Amma.
Hello, good to see you all. We've added a new event on Thursday, May 18th, because Chinese-American architect and designer Kristen Hugh is coming from New York City and going to be staying at our home farm. And we're doing a session on May 18th on farm worker housing and building of tiny homes. So we've got a couple of cabins and we're working on to expand farm worker housing on our own farm. If anyone here is interested in building tiny homes to help with housing in Vermont, whether the state does anything or not, we as private landowners and homeowners can, if our town allows in zoning, build small accessory buildings. And so we'll have a discussion and maybe some demo about that. That's on Thursday, the 18th of May at Nama Farm. Ask us if you want to attend.
Thank you. Barbara.
I'm sure you've all noticed that our garden has revealed itself in 1 week. There was nothing there there was snow there last week, and now there's sort of the second tier of flowers. And that garden out here is divided into 5 sections, and a different person is taking care of each section, but we have the smallest section needs a gardener this year. So if you like to be in the garden and are willing to do a few hours, it really isn't that much time and you can do it on your own schedule. We do need one more person to help with the garden. The second thing is that the plant sale is coming up on May 21st, and now I can believe it. It seemed like there were never going to be any plants. So I'm sure yours are growing in your own gardens, and if you have flowers, perennials that need dividing, there are pots on the porch down there where you can divide your perennials. You can put a perennial in and bring it to the plant sale on May 21st. And it's good to do that early, I mean, even this week, because if you plant it in the pot, it'll look vigorous again in 3 or 4 weeks, and it'll sell well because it'll look healthy. And of course, do keep your extra seedlings for the plant sale as well. Thanks.
Mary?
Thank you. This is my dear Tom's final day of home isolation due to COVID. And FYI, I have tested 6 days in a row, including this morning, and I'm negative. Anyway, Tom asked me to make an announcement on his behalf. So, Tom needs Old Meeting House related photos to scan for several of the 200th anniversary projects. Unfortunately, most of those in the archives, the church archives, are small or blurry or otherwise unusable. Specifically, he would like sharp black and white or color images of the following: past ministers, large group photos, chicken pie supper, the auction, Christmas pageant, any drama production, choir or music groups, Alyssa's wedding, Paris House Construction, Old Community Hall, distinguished men in bee suits, or other representative activities. Please send any photos having anything to do with the Old Meeting House to Tom at his email address. I thank you very much.
Oh, my goodness. Can you make it?
Sure.
Okay.
I just want to remind people that the fly fishing workshop that Nancy and Dana are offering next Sunday, so a week from today, they are offering it 1:30 to 4. It sounds amazing. Please reach out to Dana if you want to sign up.
I see it's Susan, and a Fran, and a Ken.
Hi, I just want to encourage all of you to come hear many of your community members sing wonderful, wonderful music from, to, and for Ukraine this afternoon at 4 at Montpelier High School. Did I get all that right?
You did.
Because we are wonderful.
Weird.
And we're singing with the Burlington Choral Society, who may even be more wonderful than we
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Hi, I'm Fran. I just want to let people know that there's a dance, a family dance at the Grange this afternoon at 3 o'clock, 3 to 4:30, and it's wonderful for kids. And John and I are playing the music, so please bring kids 3 o'clock at the Grange today.
Ken?
Wood stove today. Everybody's welcome if you can put up with us. And I want to mention again Ramin's book group, which is The Cross and the Lynching Tree, which I think has been a little bit under advertised, and it's very interesting. It meets Thursday at 7.
Sherry, I have an announcement. Okay. It's on the back of the bulletin. May 20th is going to be our Spring Fling Variety Show in the evening, and we do need to have people perform. So if you're feeling like making a fool of yourself, or it's sublime to ridiculous, so let me know if you can participate. Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, Mr. Ravine.
Hi, Ramin here. There'll be a new members class next week after church, 11 o'clock in the Blue Room. Thank you.
And Rona?
Wednesday is Ramin's birthday.
It's Rona's birthday yesterday.
What? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Okay. I think we're finished with announcements and ready for a prelude. Thank you, June. You know, it sounds better in this place right here than it does up in the choir. Welcome to you, who are searching for a spiritual home. Welcome to you who are questioning your faith, your God, yourselves. Welcome to you who are exuberant in faith and eager to share the grace of God. Welcome to you who have felt judgment and condemnation, who have felt the doors of a church close. Our doors are open, our hearts welcoming. Welcome to the old meeting house and all of its lovely congregation. And now I have to find what I did with the call to worship. Yes. Come, come, whoever you are. No matter how you're living your life, let us be the congregation that welcomes you. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. No matter if you follow the way, your toes are pointed, or you see that clear path before you, let us be the congregation that walks with you. Ours is no caravan of despair. No matter if hope seems a distant star to you, let us be the congregation that refuses to give in to despair and instead brings that star home. Come, yet again come. No matter if your travails have turned you aside again and again, let us be the congregation whose varied stories finds resonance in you. Come, yet again, come. For a moment of silence, let us be. Creator, Great Spirit, God, several are your names that we call you, but all speak love. Sometimes in our search for you, we overlook. Sorry. Sometimes in our search for you, we get interrupted. And we overlook the glimpses of you in the sharing of joys, in the sharing of sorrows, in the beauty around us, in loving, in our hopes for a just world. We ask you, be with us here as our companion in this place, and may we be filled with your presence. Amen. And I invite Marianne and Evan for an introit.
The love that made you. The love that made you
is so much bigger. It's bigger than your mother's love, bigger than your father's love, bigger than your grandmother's and grandfather's love. Bigger than the prayers of all your relations. It's bigger. Bigger than the clouds of misunderstanding that prevented the love of your ancestors from being known to you. Bigger than every drip of every birthday candle ever lit. It's bigger, bigger than the love of every friend, of every kindness. Bigger than the breath of every encouraging word, than the illumination of every loving thought. Every remembrance of tenderness. Bigger than every letter of every love letter ever. Bigger than the love of every bite of food. Bigger than the love of all the effort of every creature who contributed to every morsel of nourishment. The love that made you is bigger than the forces who carried every drop of life-giving water to quench your thirst and to bathe and wash you. And every stitch of clothing of a lifetime. Diapers and dungarees, napkins and neckties, bedclothes and blankets, rugs and rags. The love that made you is bigger than the force of every storm. Bigger than every night sky you have ever gazed upon, added up together. Bigger than the celestial pool of daylight where you gaze every moment. This magnificent, everlasting love. Prepared every moment of you. This love is you.
Thank you very much. And having heard it spoken, you can now go down and read it on the wall of the parish house and remember it's spoken. Our opening hymn is number 17. To you, O God, all creatures sing, as revised by the New Century Hymnal.
I'm acting in Tom's stead right now for this. I'm a dual personality today. The responsive reading is from Psalm 5, page 623 in your hymnal. And Tom wrote this introduction to it. Approximately 1/3 of the Bible is poetry, but none of it uses rhyme or meter as we understand them. The poets of the Hebrew scriptures used what we might call idea rhyme, where one statement echoes the previous one, either repeating it in slightly different terms or stating its antithesis. With spoken poetry, this repetition is an aid both to memory and to understanding. Psalm 5, a perfect example of this technique, contrasts the righteous and the wicked in a tidy list of parallel statements. June will play the response first. I will read the odd numbers and you the even. Give ear to my words, O God. Give heed to my sighing. Listen to the sound of my cry, my sovereign and my God, for to you I pray. O God, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I plead my case to you and watch. For you are not God who delights in wickedness. Evil will not sojourn with you. The boastful will not stand before your eyes. You hate all evildoers. You destroy those who speak lies. God abhors those who speak deceitful. But I, through the abundance of your steadfast love, will enter your house. I will bow down toward your holy temple in awe of you. You may be seated. That was beautiful. Thank you. I'm wearing my Tom hat again. Here are two prayers by devout poets of the 19th century that recall our hearts to last week's Easter celebration and also call us forward to offer our prayers and thanksgiving to God. The first is A Better Resurrection by Christina Georgina Rossetti, 1830 to 1894. I have no wit, no words, no tears. My heart within me like a stone is numbed too much for hopes or fears. Look right, look left. I dwell alone. I lift mine eyes, but dimmed with grief, no everlasting hills I see. My life is in the falling leaf. Oh, Jesus, quicken me. My life is like a faded leaf, my harvest dwindled to a husk. Truly, my life is void and brief and tedious in the barren dust. My life is like a frozen thing, no bud nor greenness can I see, yet rise it shall, the sap of spring. Oh, Jesus, rise in me. My life is like a broken bowl that cannot hold one drop of water for my soul or cordial in the searching cold. Cast in the fire, the perished thing, melt and remold it till it be a royal cup for him, my king. Oh, Jesus, drink of me. The second poem prayer is by George MacDonald from Diary of an Old Soul. All winged things came from the waters first. Airward, still many a one from the water springs. In dens and caves, wind-loving things are nursed. I lie like an unhatched bird, upfolded, dumb, while all the air is trembling with a hum of songs and beating hearts and whirring wings that call my slumbering life to wake to happy things. Okay, now I'm me. This is the time in our service where we ask for your prayers of joy or your concerns. Are there any prayers of joy or concern? Janice, in the back.
A prayer of thanksgiving for healing after surgery so well, and for all of the love and prayers and food from all of you. Thank you.
We are so glad you are well and back with us. Are there any other joys or concerns? Susan.
I'm asking again for renewed prayers for my brother Scott, who, in addition to all of his health problems, has just found out that his prostate cancer has metastasized to his spine. So just renewed prayers for Scott. Thank you.
I'm sorry for your son, and we will pray for him. Goddard or Brent? Brent.
I'd just like to thank the universe for the life of Ed Koren. And he poked the beast gently but effectively.
Thank you. Goddard?
My Susie, who is, of course, our Susie, can't be here today. She had a very rough day yesterday, despite the Red Sox victory and application of 3 hours of Charles Dickens. But I invite you to keep her in your prayers this Wednesday. She has another major surgery. It is a bit daunting, but it's necessary and it's going to work. And just remember. Thanks.
We will keep Susie in our prayers. Thank you.
Mary.
Are there any others?
Hi.
Yes.
Laura. Laura Brown, and I just want to say thanks to thanks to everyone for being here. And it's so nice to be back after being gone for 2 months, more than 2 months. And this came up, Ramin's birthday on Wednesday came up so suddenly, but I have a birthday on that day too. So, but it's great to be back.
Welcome back. Are there any other prayers of joy or concern? Sherry.
Yeah, this morning, my daughter just texted me that she does have COVID. And we were planning to leave on next Saturday for a 3-week road trip. And who knows what that'll evolve into. Just prayers for swift recovery and my not catching it.
Oh, yes. Oh, so sorry, Sherry.
Mary.
Are there any other joys or concerns?
Mary.
Mary.
It's Mary.
Mary.
Just a prayer of thanksgiving for a shift in heart space, I would say, not even mindset, towards healing and a renewed capacity for hope.
Thank you, Mary. Are there any others? Please pray with me. We are grateful for the joys expressed this morning and for those with sorrows or concerns. May you find strength, encouragement, comfort, and the assurance of love. To this we add our silent prayers. And now let us speak the prayer that Jesus taught us. Our Father, Mother, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. the old meeting house. Susan Cook Kittredge was on the staff of the old meeting house starting in 1993 and was settled pastor from 1998 to 2009. Obviously, Susan played a significant role in the post-1966 OMH history. 2016 marked 50 years since that reconstitution. Included in the program for the 50th observation and celebration that year was a lovely poem by Susan Kittredge. According to former pastor Alyssa Jonk, it was written by Susan Cook Kittredge, although not, I believe, actually for the anniversary. I believe she wrote it on her departure and simply read it again for the 50th. And I am happy to read Susan's poem, To the Old Meeting House. When first I entered the arms of your embrace, your covey was small. Few filled your patient pews, yet those who did looked up to heaven, to the lean choir of singing souls. Double digits was my claim to fame, one soft summer morning, the 10th in the flock. Not many filled your house, none but your God and mine. Our God, waiting with arms wide and mercy held at the spigot, waiting to burst forth as in years past upon the sorrowful and wise, the halt and the lame, the proud and the cocky. Mercy, like an ever-flowing stream, gathering the waters together, tears of desperation, floods of joy, trickles of yearning, brooking our falterings of faith and action, our sorry proclivity to drown. You have warmed to the gathering throngs, swathed like blankets upon your rigid, commanding pews. Why, by the way, are the backs not slanted just a bit? Is forgiveness so hard to win? We have heard you chuckle more than once at us, all fools for Christ. And yet, beyond all the laughter and delight, you have held our hope, our whimpers and whines, our outstretched fingers to a waiting and adoring God. And for those of us departed in one way or another, you have held our hearts. They rest here still. So never really empty were you or ever shall be, no matter what befalls. You are a sanctuary on holy ground, filled with the cleansing waters of grace, echoing every child's first stumbling Lord's Prayer, on earth as it is in heaven.
Moment of panic when I got upstairs. I thought, what did I do with my mask? Then I remembered I'd stuffed it in my pocket. I invite you to think at this moment in time, as we take the offering, of what it is you can offer and how you can offer. And so let it be. May the ushers come forward and take the offering. Just south of here a meandering brook to the other, passing glimpses of this homestead and the elderly couple who not long ago lived there, inspired Tom Jeanette to write a poem, which I put to music. Living Things by Tom Jeanette. I didn't read the book, but loved the cover. A little house, a garden full of flowers, where once a simple man brought home his lover. They wed and said, let's make this beauty ours. When I came here, they were already old. They waved to passers-by from garden chairs. They reached toward the other's hand to hold. The tenderness of pending loss was theirs. One day when I drove past, he sat alone. A few months later, saw the house for sale. The lawn chairs empty, gardens overgrown. No need to tell the old familiar tale. The winter passed, the empty season turned. The sign came down, the swing set on the lawn. Another garden, all soil overturned. New songbirds in the trees, new light, new dawn. A stranger still, I pause to bless this place. The mystery of living things and who makes and unites them all in grace, in circles overlapping me and you. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise God, all creatures here below. Praise God above the heavens done. Creator, Christ, and Spirit one. Amen. May these gifts be blessed with the love of God. May these gifts be blessed with our love for each other. May these gifts be used with love. Amen. I hate to say this, but I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking we don't have too many minutes left before technically we're supposed to end. So I am going to take it upon myself to skip the next hymn. Much as I wouldn't mind reading and singing it, but I'd like to get to poetry spoken aloud. And so I invite you to sit. And before I've just said, okay, it's sounding a little loud here. Just come up one at a time and do it. And I don't know. So, that one might be on. Anyway, so I will do that. I won't ask for how many people have poems, because then I'll have to decide. So, okay, we have, and if you want to get, yeah, use the floor mark. And maybe you want to get in a little line on both sides. I don't know. But I think we need to not dawdle.
Well, this is a poem that I wrote in Tom Schmidt's poetry class, which was really a great experience. He said after our first poems that were free form, he said, so now we're going to write a poem in iambic pentameter that rhymes in a certain way. And I was like, shoved right back 50 years ago in college. And I was like, okay. But I found some beautiful words in the Richard Rohr daily meditation, and they just came into my head in iambic pentameter. So this is called Wonder, after the words of Cole Arthur Riley. My faith is held together by the grace of wonder in steadfast defiance set, positioned with commitment to erase the roadblocks to attend without regret. I cannot tell you with precision what allows the sun to dip below the hill and smear the sky magenta, vaguely cut, blood injury to blue against its will. But I can tell you how those colors blurred together calm my head and change my breath. I would not paint them with a simple word that finishes a day in gentle death. If faith lived alters breath, I'll die aware that faith made me believe I could see air.
Thank you, Marcia. Aha. We have a helpful technician.
I know, so helpful. Kate Barr has become one of my favorite poets. She writes of modern womanhood. She's a feminist, and she has 3 New York Times bestselling poetry books, including one that is of blackout poems, that she writes poems based on the terrible tweets and emails she receives as a feminist poet, and she blacks out the words to create new poems. Those are hard to do here. I have 3 very short poems of hers, 2 that are a gut punch, and one that should lift us up after that. Like a wife. The week before my wedding, my friend's dad said, just don't get fat like the other wives do. And so I brined him in a deep salt bath, added thyme and celery, devoured him whole in one big bite so he could see just how hungry a woman can be. Mix Up. This one was also in the New Yorker. In a cosmic mix-up, the wife switches bodies with her husband. Nothing like this has happened before, she cries, as she pulls on his pants, minds the crotch, barrels down the long staircase to an office where they call her Bud, and how about those Steelers? It's upsetting, the whole charade, except at lunch, when she orders fries and no one says, we're so bad. Or at the meeting when she gives the room all her best ideas and they say, man, where have you been? We have to fix this, her husband begs when the wife returns for dinner. Come here, she says, slipping off her shoes and drawing the curtains before she makes love to another life. And finally, idea. I will enjoy this life. I will open it like a peach in season, suck the juice from every finger, run my tongue over my chin. I will not worry about cliches or uninvited guests peering in my windows. I will love and be loved, save and be saved 1,000 times. I will let the want into my body, bless the heat under my skin. My life, I will not waste it. I will enjoy this life. Thanks.
Thank you.
He's going to have to lower
Okay, so I'm very lucky today because I'm here with my friend Patty Jocelyn, who happens to be a poet. She's written many poetry books and books on meditations, and lives in Montpelier. Took off for a while, and hopefully is back for a while. Anyway, she handed me this poem she wrote this morning, even though I have this whole list, because she got some sad news from a friend and was inspired to write it. I am learning to live on land, it's titled. I am learning to live on land. I thought it was going to be easy, with 2 legs and all, yet I wobble when I walk, and still I refuse cane or crutch. I need the trust of the ground to hold me upright, to know the pull of center, feel the magnetic force of how things, including me, spin. On my knees, praying comes easier. And then I pulled out a few, and I'm going to just read. Hopefully I don't lose the page. One that connects me to Patty, and to a lot of you, because we raise children together, and this speaks to that for me. How do I do this? No. It's entitled Vulnerable. Vulnerable we are, like infants in the early morning of our lives and days. My own children slept covered in flannel and love. They knew love. They know love. They are grown-ups with loves of their own, and when they walk into a room, it makes me want to fly.
Thank you, Wendy.
I'd like to share a couple of poems with you from my friend, with her permission, from my friend Susan Deborah King, more familiarly known as Sam, a poet whom I met and befriended on Great Cranberry Isle off the coast of Maine, where I have served many years as a guest minister in the summertime. The first one from her book, One Life, One Meeting, is called Troubled Waters, and it begins with a quote from John chapter 5, verse 4. For an angel went down at a certain time into the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then first after the troubling of the water stepped in was made whole of whatever disease he had. As I sit on the couch exhausted, trying for rest, trying for peace, I am besieged with fears about my health, my husband's health, the return of our cancers, worried about my son-in-law's job loss, my grandson's allergies, about why our smart, beautiful, loving daughter has not yet found the right mate, about my failed proposals and the bills, how in God's name at times they'll be paid, about friends with intractable challenges and those precious, irreplaceable ones now forever out of reach. I'm heartsick and outraged about the inaction of Congress. What? Not raise the minimum wage? What? Not lower interest on student loans? Not vote for universal health care? Not insist on gun control? Not be more lenient with refugees? About people on lounge chairs with popcorn and drinks, cheering missiles aimed at housefuls of children, about fathers who pimp their daughters for gambling money, about whole neighborhoods annihilated by tornadoes, about the disappearance of butterflies, bats, and bees. How powerless I am against all this pain. I want to scream. I want to escape, make it go away. Is it never possible to be truly at ease, to struggle loose from the fray? Maybe, it occurs to me, Only if I consent to turbulence, if I allow my barricades against it to disintegrate and stop craving still waters that so quickly become rank. If only I could let those little temples to stasis and safety I try so hard and so unsuccessfully to raise and hide out in, collapse, dissolve, and float downstream. If only I could, in the way of healing waters, let myself be troubled, be like the sea, wide enough, always writhing, wildly alive, and so quick to the wind that when light strikes, it shatters into hammered gold, into glorious smithereens magnified by the sky, in which the whole broken world could immerse itself. How then could it not help but be changed? And then a very short one that's very seasonal. And I think it's right here at the beginning, yes. Peepers. This was the sound at the beginning, the quickening chant spelled over the deep to call up substance, brooding over the speechless waters until they rang. Like the notes frost-bitten flesh would reach tingling back to feeling, each warmed layer of tissue jingling its little bell. They rub the earth's bare, numb surface with their constant abrading carol to bring up the green. Swarming around the swamp's cauldron, they bewitch bulbs to tull their yellow clappers and burst forsythia-like stars from the primal bang.
Thank you, Rona.
Now he's going to make it really short. There are such amazing, accomplished poets. And the truth of the matter is, some of us write poetry to make sense of what we don't know we know. And many of you have been privy to Sally Smith's and my work around the enslaved infant, Pomp Russell, who was born in 1760. Doing that work has allowed me to focus in that time period, about 1760 to 1840. And it has really marked my life, but it's marked my life in different ways. And this poem, I think, will make sense as it connects with two things. One, our amazing beginning work, building on Ellen Hill's work on the history of the old meeting house and its participants. And the other is, because I've been doing this work around Pomp Russell, I've been invited into a group of women in Maine who are young, self-declared Black feminists who are stepping up to the plate in amazing ways. They're becoming members of planning boards in large communities. They are in the legislature. They are becoming involved, and they're trying to make sense of their world. And the piece that ties up with the old meeting house is because Tom and Nathan have been doing so much digging, they stumbled across a book. And the book is called A New England Story. And it's written by a woman named Sophie, Sophie Damon, who is the granddaughter of Rebecca Peabody, who is the wife of Parley Davis. And Parley Davis gave us this land. So my invitation after I read this poem is to let you know that I would love to have some of us read this wonderful novel filled with true family stories together so we can look at the sense of deep community that women in the 1790s to 1820s and probably beyond had together because they needed it. So this was me making sense. For Rebecca Peabody herself, a Davis by marriage and by way of many mothers in early Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Vermont, remembering a granddaughter who actually saw her mother and 6 aunts. She loving the wonder of her grandmother's stories and theirs. This daughter watered the stored seeds planted by her elders. 389 pages gleaned, imagining those she gathered as she grazed among them, feasting. I recognizing when food for thought is shared at the table, told across 100 years, 8 lives to a 9th becomes well seasoned. What I discover is a garden grown in the wilderness of women, gathered and gleaned, stored in the root cellar of memory, waiting for me to step into that dark, cool place of preservation.
Thank you, Judy. Okay.
Great. This is called Equinox. Being injustice casts its shadow. Reconciliation eludes some, sometimes complacent, complicit. Sometimes a change is set aloft. Spring's early bloom, a pesky dandelion, bitter to taste, but the tonic steeps in roots grasping deep into the well, cut down, knocked back. We gardeners get distracted by our own crops, late to the scene, throwing stones outside our bed. Ages late. Yellow blossoms, long dried and seed set aloft in the breeze, my eyes to the sky as the parachute floats on the breeze. Dormant, now distant, betwixt and between, the seed loops back earthward, tempting fate momentarily, then defiantly higher and higher. The weeding long forgotten and roots untouched.
Thank you, Mark. We don't have time for too many more, like maybe only 2.
This is a poem by Marin Tirabassi.
If you need to leave, by all means.
It's called Confession of an American Christian, Matthew 5, verses 13 to 15. How often we are the salt in the wounds of the earth, flaunting our prosperity, hoarding it, and destroying the tastes of the wind, the ground, the sea, by the trampling of these great boots we call our needs. Or with halogen beams, our out-of-control truck, we careen up the highest hills, searching the biggest city and singing, "This big light of mine, I'm going to make it shine so no one sees anything else for miles and miles around." We have missed the lamplighting in the valley places where kindness dwells. Not so everyone looks at our light, but that by our little light, a child reads a book. An elder feels safe from rustling outside the window or sirens in the streets, and partners in love cook potatoes, slice apples, bake bread with a dash of salt, so all those who are hungry may come in and eat.
Thank you, Kim. God has been waiting.
forgive me if some of you have heard this before, but memory is porous. This is a brief poem by a woman named Clara Vanderay, who may actually, at this moment, be worshiping in a space like this in a little church in Cardigan, Prince Edward Island. This is a poem which comes from Susie's and I many, many years in Atlantic Canada, but it's appropriate to this group because it is about youth and age and the cycle of youth and age. And it's called The Old Man, the Captain, and Me. We're up before God has ended the night and hauling up anchors by the dawn's early light. We slide out of launching toward Botany Bay as the sun warms the cabin of the Jessica K. The old ship is solid, but showing her age. Her scars are aplenty from the tricks of her trade. She's been hauling up lobsters for an eternity with the old man, the captain, and me. The old man is bent and his eyes nearly blind. His body is crippled, but not so his mind. The smell of the sea brings the smile to his face. It gives him fond memories and visions of grace. He says that a fisherman never will die. He just anchors his boat where the waters meet sky. There's no greater reward than a life on the sea for the old man, the captain, and me. The captain has said that he'll hang up his gear. He says he'll retire at the end of the year. I've heard the same story a half dozen times. A man doesn't quit when he's still in his prime. There's many a sunrise just past the skyline before I take over the ship and the line. For sea's in the blood, and it runs through the heart of the old man, the captain, and me. Yes, the old man, the captain, and me.
Thank you, God.
Thank you. I have a short poem about infinity. In each other, there is always more.
Very crisp. Well, okay, I'm going to read one for me. The bells in the woods. The bells in the woods that ring in the May are but thrush voices, to some just noise. But when spring is such an aching need, each fresh voice from the trees enters the heart and bursts the soul with joy, inexplicable joy, ever-expanding joy. Who dares explain why simple music from the throat of a plain brown bird can work such miracle, can lift the weight of foot-dragging winter from the spirit, can answer the prayer for one more spring? The birds are living, one more spring. They have survived the other country. They have survived and for their own spirits sing, never dreaming that when they do, our human spirits sing too. Let us, number 249, let us sing maybe, it's short, let us sing it. All right, all of it, it is. And you can consider this also the benediction. Peace I leave with you, my friends. Shalom, my peace lies all you do. Peace I leave with you, my friend. I give to you and can give to others too. To share God's love is why I came, to show God's kindness without end. and do the same until I come again. Peace I leave with you, my friend. Shalom, my peace in all you do. Peace I leave with you, my friends. I give to all you can give to others too. Take my hand and be at peace. The Spirit of our love I send, and now this love you will be free until I come again. Peace I leave with you, my friends. Shalom, my peace in all you do. Peace I leave with you, my friends. I give to you that you can give to others too. With this love, all will know the loneliness is at an end. Rejoice, my friends, although I go, for I will come again. Peace I leave with you, my friends. Shalom, my peace in all you do. Peace I leave with you, my friends. I give to you, you can give to others too. Go in peace.